All right, what's going on, everybody? Back out here and start up right out of the gate shooting mule deer. Shout out. What? Who took? I took your Oreo. Maybe that happened. So I'm getting like one half of me is like this really is just an insane grind for even me, like just this many kills in, crazy. That said, looking at how many kills everybody averages, like 4,500 is like right now as current stats goes pretty high end extreme as far as mule deer goes. Granted, there's still theoretically a 10,000 kill grind out there that nobody's mathematically been able to hit yet. That said, maybe not. That could have happened. That either way, if you could, even though mule deer or great ones are random, technically based just off of what people have gotten so far, kill count wise and all that. Theoretically, I'm 300 kills within this great one, and that's kind of exciting. But then again, I've been thinking that every 200 kills I get, so you know, here we are. Move that counter because I feel like everybody can see it better up here instead of down there with my stuff. Still haven't seen a new rare. Almost 300 kills in since the update. And I've shot a dilute. And then I shot a piebald. Still haven't seen one of the new ones. I've been having a rough go of it though. I mean, I've only shot 10 rares at this point. Which is actually insane. I mean, 4,300 kills into this thing, man. And 10 rares. That's insane. Either I'm really unlucky or mule deer rares are truly rare. We got a diamond whitetail. Piebalds do look great. They do. I'm not, well, forgive me if it sounds like I'm complaining. I guess I'm lamenting more than complaining because it's like, you know, it is cool. And honestly, piebald mule deer look amazing. Ooh. But when those brand new rares are there, you know, and that's what you see, it's like, ah, come on. That is a brilliant idea. Gators are worth a ton of money. You know, honestly, too, I mean, if you got creative with it, there's a ton of stuff, like sandbar and stuff. I think that's what they're called. Those are worth just about the same, and like you can get some serious cash flow from Emerald Coast. Diamond Croc, that's awesome, dude. Hoping to see a diamond mule deer. Once you start grinding strictly for money in this game, you'd be surprised at how quick you can actually make it. Oh, dude, when Emerald Coast came out, I stand by it. I called it Troll Coast because literally and this is not a joke, I shot 55 troll kangaroo before I ever saw a diamond kangaroo. Don't get me wrong, it was fun because like every time I got on Emerald Coast, I was like, oh, there's 9 legendary kangaroo, maybe this is it, you know. But that deep in, I'm like, oh, maybe they're broken and diamond, because early days of the game, there was a point where Roosevelt elk, and this was back when like that was all there was to hunt, you know, Roosevelt elk were actually broken and like they would never spawn as a diamond. So that kind of super stunk, and I thought maybe that was what was going on there. But no, it's Emerald Coast. There's a lot of trolling going on there, dude. Unfortunately. So I feel your pain on that one. Oh, I forgot that guy was standing there. Probably should have shot him. He's still standing there. Realize my gunshots are delayed. I can fix that though. Back in my day, caribou were the most trolling animal. But no, for real, kangaroo are insane. That's the one animal if you were to say, what animal do you hate to hunt, it's kangaroos. And part of that comes from, I thought they were going to be a lot of fun. When Emerald Coast was coming out and the hype was, you know, nah, hate it. Fox is sad. I will say, and I don't know, Now, for me personally, I really, really, really enjoy my wild caught diamonds and rares. I don't like, if I want a diamond, you know, whatever, I want to go out there and try to find one. Like, even though I know I could set up some tents and get strategic and spawn one in eventually. That said, you can't, you know, Saltzweiss and Coast, man, that's where it's at when it comes to Red Fox. That's the map for him, in my opinion. But man, when at least when I'm on a wildcat hunt, it stinks when you ruin one, because there's no, like, you know, if we're right now, if we're on a grind, and you know, let's say for example, I get a diamond to spawn in, and I make a bad shot, and I know I make a bad shot, I can fix it. I can immediately close out the game, and it's as though it never happened. But if you're in a multiplayer session, you can't do that. Yeah. Yeah, to be effective with them, you gotta hunt them at night, and that can be brutal. I don't think there's any other species that I just really despise hunting. You know, here's the thing. I used to despise European rabbits because they had those burrows, but like once I figured them out, I'm like, oh, these are nothing. Like, the hard part obviously is finding the burrows and then getting them to be there, but they're dumb. You can literally like walk right in the middle of all of them. Well, howdy, Kennedy. Nice diamond gray wolf. Stand by, folks. We just lost the counter. I actually I was trying to change it. I almost inadvertently, like, just killed the stream. I was like, oh, I was panicking there for a second. But now I just canceled the counter. I don't know what I did. Well, unfortunately, tonight, this is what I'm doing. Grinding the mule deer. And that, to me, is a solo endeavor. That said, whenever I'm... What is going on here? I don't actually see my... Tell you what, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to go ahead and delete it. and re-add it here, and hopefully that'll work. Meanwhile, my guy runs into oblivion. My bad, guys. Still down to one monitor, so it's going to be awkward for a second. Just pretend we're staring at a 10 fabled mule deer. Okay, my apologies for that, folks. I'll fix the color and all that fun stuff later. We'll worry about that. Even though, I don't know, the white on white isn't terrible, I guess. Oop, hang on, we missed that. What's okay? Aim the correct grind. Did you run past it? I think I did run past it. That's why I'm going back to check. And here's the thing, too. Like, I am so paranoid about dirty grinding one of my great one species that I will so triple check. Like, like, dude, I'll shoot one mule deer and I'll know I shot one mule deer, right? I'll pick it up and I'll still look around just to make sure, because it's like, dude, I ruined so many grinds early on in the early days doing crazy stuff, and it's like, I don't know, it's like PTSD, I guess, from it coming out. That's a long way of saying, like, yeah, I was coming back. I was actually watching the stream to see where my guy was off to the moon to, because I had to switch screens. Anyway, yeah, Oreo, I think, yeah, no, here's my thing. Not only do I think they should add a great one croc, I think they should make everything a great one. Why not? Because here's my thing. What I want to do is do a passive grind on a map to where if everything's a great one, well, everything that you shoot goes towards that great one, so why not shoot everything? I mean, you'll do there, but it's not a total loss, I guess, to that wolf. Yeah. Everything, man. Ducks, rabbits. Rabbits would be amazing. Raccoons. Rocky Mountain elk. Honestly, though, their track record, that's exactly what it seems like they're doing. Now, this is one of those weird, like, I'm going to say this, and maybe some of you guys are going to be like, what? But they need, like, a much, 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 much bigger trophy lodge, or, like, the ability to make more now. Something. Because there are some of us that have a lot that's actually an issue. We're like, I don't have room for all this. Well, here's the thing. It don't matter what you put in your trophy lodge. There comes a point you play this game long enough where you really do run into that problem. You're like, oh, I don't have trophy lodge space. And for me, that honestly, it's what kind of led to me wanting to do the whole, you know, run and gun wildcaught dime thing, because for me, like, it came down to, like, I had to, like, start picking and choosing, you know, what goes in lodges and what doesn't. And then, like, with the 2026 lodge stuff, and, you know, we've been doing that for 3 years now, so that's 3 trophy lodge worth of stuff. Granted, last year was stunk. You'd be surprised, man, how quick all those trophy lodges fill up. I've also been playing this game for an embarrassing hot second, too, though. There's that. My respawns feel weird, but that's to be expected. We blew through that zone. I don't actually want to shoot anything. I'd rather wait this one out. Oh yeah, I've gotten several great ones. But for me, and I've been playing the game so long that, you know, for me, Call of the Wild, like, great ones are in a weird way, like, because I can still conceptualize them being such a new thing, where it's just like, okay, what do you say? He said a great one. And so, for me, like, in this game, like, diamonds are it. In a weird way. Like, not, I love great ones, don't get me wrong, but, like, that's like, alright, we're going for diamonds here. Because back in the day, that was all you had. And what's insane is, there are still, to this day, diamonds on maps that came out in those days that I do not have. Meanwhile, you know, as far as the great ones go, yeah, sure, you gotta shoot a ton of them, but I get them. You know, there's some diamonds out there that's like, I don't know where these things are, man. Also, I get to blabbermouth and I'm like walking around, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. Let's have lucky, make sure there's nothing. Got no hunting pressure here. Honestly, it's rares for me too. So, did I shoot a guy? Again, I need to... So what happens is, whenever I'm talking, I start looking at chat as I'm speaking, and so I have no idea what, at this point, then, you know, what's going on, and that's not good. This is the triple check and double checking part. I'm pretty sure we either picked him this guy. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, it's very possible. It's just hard to do. Especially in the context that I'm doing it in. And honestly, I don't think that it's time frame wise would ever be possible, but like, there's some stubborn diamonds that I can foresee one day I'm going to have to just actually grind for to get, which is fine. That just means those are the ones you got to grind for, you know? Otherwise, like, it's so fun to me to be able to go out into somebody's random multiplayer session somewhere, dude, and just boom, there it is, you know? Did I hit the other guy and wound him? If I did, I'd love to get a follow-up on him, but... That's where it gets insane. Because here I am. I'm at 4,304 mule deer kills. And I've been shooting mule deer since the ASCII Ridge came out. But I know people with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of great ones. Those people are not me. And unfortunately, I did wound this guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the challenge. And here's the thing, man. Once you get past, like, the work and get, like, your herd management, like, squared away and things are happening, grinding's a lot of fun. And truth be told, realistically, there's nothing been wrong with it. Like, I've gotten so many diamonds. Now, like I said, 10 rares, that's a little weird. But dime rate is pretty great, especially when compared to my fallow grind. My fallow grind, I struggle a little bit, which is weird because fallow are kind of like, you know, it. Man, this guy ran so far. I wonder if he... I'm pretty sure he's dead. Kind of stink if he wasn't. Yeah, there he is. That said, that's exactly what I'm on the journey to do, is get all the great ones as well. But that's the thing, like, for me, it's a dilemma, because it's like, my ultimate goal is to get all the diamonds first, technically. Like, that's actually my priority versus the great ones, because, well, it just is. But they just keep adding great ones, so it's like every time, you know, you're like, all right, there's another one I have to get. Like, all right, I'm stuck on mule deer. I gotta get those pigs now. I gotta get wolves. We're this many kills in, this long in, like, what's this look like, you know? Part of me wants to give it up, or the herd management up, because Rick's shot, I think, 2 mule deer now. Great ones without it. And it's like, and he's the herd management, like, guru. And he's like, I don't know, man. It's weird, though. I don't want to give it up. Maybe we could look into that one of these days, because here's the thing, folks. I wouldn't mind stealing some diamonds from y'all. You know what I'm saying? But, unfortunately tonight, we're grinding mule deer. That's the mission. We're here. We gotta lock in and just get it done. Like I said, I really feel like maybe, you know, 4,500 kills is insane, but that's 200 kills away, and that's doable. And I think we're in that window. This guy really could spawn. Oh, don't tell me that was too high. Come on now. Well, darn. Oh, I was talking about Rix. Shout out Rix. He really is the greatest Great One grinder you've never heard of. Although I'll say this, I've never seen iBuy and Rix in the same place, same time, but you know, who am I? Rix would make iBuy jealous though. Though, hindsight, with having to track these guys down forever, I do need to let my respawns cook, and I guess this is one way to let that happen. Rix has legit made a lot of people quit playing Call of the Wild. He's that insane at getting great ones. And like me, he plays on console, so there's no weirdness going on. He's just that good at it. He's just... He understands it unlike no one else that I've ever seen. That's sad when I do what he does. You know, it just, here we are, for 4,000 plus kills in. There's one time, this is back in the day, the old good old days before they added, I forget what they call it. It's basically the zones or regions that the animals are contained to now. Back in the day, Call of the Wild wasn't like that. It's hard to explain. It makes it feel more empty now. Anyway, that's a gripe for a different time. Rix and I were having, I guess it was a friendly competition, but we were doing more of a challenge. And the challenge was we were going to get, and this is kind of what actually inspired, this was years ago, this is what inspired kind of what we're doing now is the, you know, Wildcaught Diamond and Rare Lodge. We had to play through all the maps that were out. And I'm trying to think, I want to say at this point, the latest map to have come out might have been Reventuli Coast. Maybe. Anyway, the challenge was we both were playing on multiplayer, obviously, and we had to get through, or one of us had to find a diamond or a rare, and once that happened, it was kind of like gun game. We would change the map. It would be it would spawn the next map, right? Oh, dude, here's the thing: when I started out back in the day, I didn't know that the beginner scope zoomed. I had no idea. I just thought it was impossible to see through that thing, man. And I am incredibly embarrassed to tell you guys how long it took me to realize that was a thing. I think it was like after Reventilli Coast came out. I remember I was like messing around one day. I'm like, well, I'll try the beginner scope, and I realized like, oh, this thing zooms in. What? I spent so much time grinding for that scope for nothing. Not really. You need to upgrade that scope if you're still using it, but yeah, I want to say it was either 2018 or 2019 for me. Now, here's the thing. When this game first came out, actually, hang on, folks. Before I go any further, I really have to use the restroom. I've been kind of holding it there, and we just finished really this grind set, so I'm gonna be right back. That thought though. Okie dokie, I'm back. That's so much better. Anywho, back in my day. Well, it's so incredibly, you know, playing a game or being part of a game community that has been around so long and is showing signs of just keep on going. You know, that's super cool. But it's been around long enough, man. Like, there really is back in my day stories now, dude. And it's kind of cool to, like, be part of it, you know? And, like, so I started playing Call of the Wild. It was probably 2018, 2019. I remember seeing a trailer for it at some point and thought it obviously looked super awesome. But then after that, you know, it's whatever. I think, yeah, that was around the time Red Dead was coming out. And then one day a buddy of mine was like, hey, and I had never up to that point had considered getting Game Pass, and after their fiasco, I'll openly say this, I don't have Game Pass anymore, but they added Call of the Wild to the Game Pass, and I was like, alright, just to try it out, I'll try it out. Why are these guys traveling during their drink time? It's like, alright, I'll try it out, you know. And instantly fell in love. Because, you know, I was a huge fan of the Cabela's games, but I wasn't a PC gamer either, so I was limited to what was on console, and there was nothing. You know, once the 360 era died, so did playing Big Game Hunter, you know? And so it had been so long, and then, like, this game came out, dude, and, I count that guy? I think I did not. I'll be honest too. There was actually, so admittedly, like for the longest time, I was playing the game from Game Pass. Like I never had it, and then they actually took it off Game Pass, and I was like, uh-oh, content creator, this is an issue. I have the game on PC, but my main account is on Xbox, so I'm like, well, this ain't gonna work out. So I had to buy the game. Not that I had to, I actually wanted to. I'm more than happy to give these people my money because honestly, they do a pretty good job. You know, there's obviously always going to be issues. I really do, and this is like as a gamer opinion, not a Call of the Wild opinion. Because speaking of Game Pass too, the other thought, it made no sense for me either because Call of the Wild's the only game I'm playing on console, so everything else I play is on Steam or whatever, you know, and it is what I don't need to pay for that, you know. Red Dead Online, as a huge, insane Red Dead fan, honestly disappointed me. It was really fun when it first came out just because it was new and like, and honestly, we, like my friend group at the time, we were really worried that it was going to be just like Red Dead 1, where like outside of like a weird kind of virtual hangout world, and I'm sure at this point, I'm sure they've added enough that it's actually probably pretty fun to play, but like even with like, I don't know, I just always have felt like there is so much more they could have done with Red. Even with the stuff they have done, there's so much more they could have gone crazy with. They could have went full, and I was kind of really hoping they would have went full GTA 5 with it online, you know. But hey, what do I know? I don't know. They went money hungry with game because originally Game Pass was this, in my opinion, it's my opinion, was this like kind of uniquely controversial yet uniquely highly beneficial to gamers. Kind of, it was the console version of Steam in a weird way. Now Steam's obviously a free platform, but like the reason console games are so expensive compared to PC games is because it costs even more to have the game to be put on those consoles just for licensing. And that's just stupid. But it is what it is. And with Game Pass, that kind of changed that dynamic a little bit where it's like, all right, yeah, you're paying for Game Pass. But there's a whole bunch of $70 gamers right now that you can just play right now. You know what I mean? And for the most part, when they added it to Game Pass, man, it was on there so because you'd be like, well, if it's only on there for a day or two, like, what's the point? It's not. It's like, I literally played Call of the Wild for years on Game Pass. Halo. I mean, just so much. Long story short, and it was an excellent, in my opinion, it was such a good price point because at the time I think it was like $20 a month for like all access. Why are we stuck in this tent? What in the world? Is this? What is this? Can I not fast travel here? Y'all are seeing this, right? Bro. I bet that tent's actually destroyed. Well, maybe not. Half expected to say a beaver destroyed that tent. Anyway, that was frustrating. Call the wild moment. I'm not gonna here. Okay, what started this conversation? I'm not gonna be disingenuous. Like, oh, our game's broken. I mean, it is broken. There's some stuff they need to fix. But at this point, how were you gonna recognize that which game doesn't have something wrong with it? I'll wait. Apparently, it's really hard to make games without something wrong with them. But for real, they need to fix that cancel glitch I keep running into, because that's literally game breaking, and it'd be really nice if they did that. The fact that there's Mule Deer running away tells me that this isn't going to be a good run through. Oh rats, I done messed up. Oh, this dude's juking and jiving, man. Good news is it's not actually as far from this tent. My lodges have no rhyme or reason just because most of them are wild caught, you know? For me, that's kind of the cool part about it, though, because it's like it's just as random as the hunts were. half expected to see that guy on top of the ridge. Yeah, it was on top of the ridge, just not part of the top of the ridge that was at. Shot him in the shoulder blade. I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. Oh, that's another mule deer. We'll add him to the counter there. If you're on Xbox, you can add me. And that would allow me access to your trophy lodge. One of these days, that would be kind of neat to just tour your guys' lodges. Could totally just, you know, roast some lodges. Just kidding. See, that's the thing they need to make happen. They need to make consoles, and 100% they need to make this happen. And I don't, like, my one big critique, I guess, of Call of the Wild is the fact that their system is archaic by today's standards. And honestly, it was kind of back then when it first came out. But granted, multiplayer, fun fact, Call of the Wild fun fact, multiplayer was never supposed to be in the game. Like, that was like a complete byproduct that the community asked for. Anywho, it's pretty janky. At least on console. I do like the multiplayer experience on PC much better. That said, they need to make it cross-platform. Whatever they have to do needs to happen. I don't know what happened, because back in the day, though, it was really good. Like, so good. And nowadays, it's just so bad. It's been bad since... Honestly, it's been bad since Raventilli Coast. Oh, it's way past their drink time. They're not going to be here. Give me just a sec, folks. Sorry about that, folks. I'm home alone at the moment. My dog was going crazy. I was like, what's going on here? But apparently nothing. My dog's just crazy. And now apparently I've misplaced my controller. This is super awkward. Although I do gotta appreciate the detail of the tent from time to time. We've got ourselves a large backpack set off in the corner. First and foremost, this is like the tent from Harry Potter, okay? Because when you're outside the tent, you're like, this is a small tent. You're in this thing. You're like, all right, we got the backpack set up. We've got, and as a personal tent camper, I'm kind of blown away by the ergonomics of this dude. Trying to fill the white gap while I'm like panically looking for my controller. I have no idea where I set it. Found it. You played Salzweisen? I'm fairly self. The only actual like thing that I need to do as far as like, you know, stream stuff, I need to get my second monitor going up. But at the same time, like, I don't know. What's the rush? It is very convenient to have one set up, though, I'll say that. But at the same time, like, no more than what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I'm watching chat on my phone, and that's fine. Truthfully, so far, when it comes to YouTube, like, it's pretty flawless with Twitch. YouTube, there is sometimes, like, I've always used, like, YouTube anyway to watch and monitor chat just because it's glitchy on the other end of things, and like I can miss a lot of stuff either way, so it's like meh. Now PC side of things, like PC like gaming and stuff like that, I'd like to have that backup because having Discord up and all that fun stuff at the same time is pretty nice. But I'm reading chat right now. Need 10,000 kills just to spawn a trophy instead of using hunting techniques. And I don't know. Just depends. Also depends on what you call a trophy. I mean, I've got a 277 potential inch MULE stand in front of me. This thing is an absolute stone cold giant. Okay, Oreo, what are you screaming about the Saskafari Lodge? Also, I'm not sure what you're defining as new maps. I always just call it the Africa Lodge. I don't know. I mean, I say it and I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Truthfully, my favorite, and I don't, well, here's where I land on this argument. The coolest lodge, in my opinion, is the Leighton Lakes Lodge. It is so amazingly incredible looking. But you're held back by what you can put in there. But that's me. Here we are, you know, been playing for a long time and have a lot of trophies and like want to put a lot of different stuff in there, and so I see it as a holdback. But there's some people that don't have the trophy lodges at all, and well, that's a free trophy lodge. And well, if they're playing, if they're only all they're doing is playing on Leighton Lakes and Hirschfelden, well, that totally makes sense that that trophy lodge, that's all the species it can have, you know. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily see it as predatory, because at the same time, they are a business, and like, they're a business that I support, because they have not shown to be really greedy at all, by any standards or stretch, compared to the industry. Here's the thing, what's really cool about this game is like when you're supporting them in that way, like you really are supporting the game. Like you're not, you know, they're not trying to milk this game to support, you know, an entire like megalithic corporation. You know, they're just like, this group, they're like, this is our game and we're gonna keep it alive. They're down there playing reindeer games. Look at how they're formed up, dude. They got two up front there. We got 5 in the back. Good defensive line going here. We've got a forward going ahead. All right. That's like what's mind-blowing to me, because I figured, you know, like it's weirdly humbling too, because you like, I totally judge these guys, you know, because I remember they announced, they're like, we're gonna raise prices of our DLC, and it's like, ah, man, they're joining in, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, it's $12. Okay, well, all right, we're good still, because back in the day it was like a new map, I think, was like $6, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I could have gotten a sale and like conflated the prices, but like they're very like generous with like, now that said, I think Askew Ridge might have been more expensive. And here's the thing, like I probably do perpetuate to some extent like the need or necessity to have all these DLCs like stuff, but the raw reality is you don't. A couple I'd recommend 100% to have that would make your life a little bit useful, but I spent a long time having a lot of fun with that 7mm and 308 combo. Dude, Call of Duty, yeah, Call of Duty, okay, yeah, the weapon skin that I can freely choose what to pick and want just by free. And like, yeah, Call of Duty is just insane. Like, this weapon skin would be like $30. And people are buying it. It's just weird. No judgment, just weird. But like, it's cool that like they're just like, Harry, like the customization things is really cool. I support it. I think it's neat. It opens the game up for sure. But they're doing it in such a like let's look. I have not purchased any cosmetics. I want to see how much it's selling for on Xbox right now in America. What's going on here? Is it broken? $3. Inflation is $3. For all those town arrows that you saw, it's $3. And so yeah, when you directly compare it, like I said, to the industry, it's like, yeah, it's a no-brainer for me, especially when like they actually care about their game. Like, it's not like there's just a bunch of interns working on like whatever the project manager said to make, and then that's how you end up with Call of Duty. Sitting there blabbermouthing and triple checking once again, make sure I didn't like miss something. Yeah, you're 100% right, man. Yeah, it's well, I do see it in the PC world, like, and I don't know. Then again, I play a game that has some pretty beefy DLCs that are like $30, pop, and that can be expensive, especially when they have like 25 of them, But the difference is like when you're buying them as they come out, especially when they're super cheap, it is what it is. But they've never went back and been like, you know what, all of our DLC's $30 now. Never. In fact, they've done the opposite. Most of the time when there's a game sale, guess what's on sale? It's pretty cool. Do I wish they'd use some of that money to make some multiplayer servers that are dedicated and aren't broken, and give me a server browser and some cross-platform ability with my PlayStation friends? And but people at home got to eat too, so these guys, you can tell they work for their money, and I appreciate it. Okay, I think we're cleared here. Maybe. Going as far as like the bragging rights stuff, like, here's the thing. I was definitely a Halo Call of Duty guy prior to Call of the Wild, and it's weird. And I think it was that, like, in a weird way, not truly, but in like an experience kind of way, it was like Call of the Wild was almost like my first PC game experience on a console, if that makes sense, where it's just like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like, kind of way. And like immediately that comparison of just like what, especially in the day, because back in the day, man, this game for me was just like an animal killing simulator. You know, you just jump in here and you're like, oh, dude. And of course, as a real life hunter, it was cool being on Layton Lakes and seeing monster bucks, you know, and stuff like that. But oh, dude, I loved, and honestly, I still do. And man, it hurts me that they're not investing more into that. It really does, because, dude, they were onto something. And I can remember when I first played it, I was so excited because, like, at the time, it was noticeably limited in a weird way when it first came out. But I was so excited because I was thinking about Call of the Wild and like, just, like, the endless possibilities that game had. And, like, and then they're just like, yeah, we're done. And it's like, no. Admittedly, they left it in a good spot. It's a good game, in my opinion. It just is. But the fact that it's a game that had so much potential, that kind of hurts a little bit. I hope they, in a weird way, I hope they do what Wave the Hunter 2 did. Because I was very suspicious of Wave the Hunter 2. Because I really did. I was like, this is a clear money grab. They're owned by a big AAA studio. Like, they're just trying to, you know, cash in. They've got... And I'll be real honest with you. I'm always hesitant of video games that have real life counterparts in them as sponsor deals, because I feel like that's a limiting, like, you know, they're gonna monitor what's in their game, you know, with their brand in it, kind of thing. Man, if you're around, like, I don't know when that was. I was just talking about that, like, back in my day. Like, yeah, there was no herd management. There was, it's like that era was a weird golden era of Call of the Wild, in my opinion. In some respects, in a weird way, I almost wish they would have just stopped with Whitetail and that'd have been it. But now we're at a point where it's like, all right, let's do them all. Oreo, the starter maps of hell. You know, I'm gonna agree with you there. Um, in hindsight, though, where the game is at now was, like Outdoor just pointed out. This game was such a it wasn't a different game, but it was. You know what I mean? Like, the point of it was so different. How you played it was so different. Here's the crazy part, guys. Here's the insane part. This is no joke. When I started doing, like, my playstyle back in those days was considered controversial. And the reason is because, like, the game was just the way it was, and, like, the fact of, like, you're running around and checking all the hot spots, like, that's, you know, what are you doing? And now, meanwhile, I'm, like, herd managing my mule deer, and I'm like, where's my diamond at? We're past the diamond point. Like, I'm a little worried now because he should have spawned, and I haven't seen him yet. I'm gonna give that man's PC CPR. should be tomorrow. Tomorrow's technically up in the air. We'll see about that. I'll let you guys know via post whether it happens. That said, typically it would be tomorrow. And tomorrow game plan is to do exactly what I've been talking about. We're going old school, and we're running gun. We're looking for some wildcard diamonds and rares. We got a lot of trophy lodge space left in that 2026 lodge, and it is March 10th. So we got not a whole lot of time, theoretically, to fill that dude up. So see, outdoor, that's also why I want them to actually make everything great ones at this point, because then you can kind of go back to the old days, because at that point shooting everything really could just spawn a great one, so why wouldn't you shoot everything? I will say, in retrospect, I used to be an absolute purist about this game, and now as like a full-time family man, plus this, you know, I miss the days of being able to just pop in your tent, shoot 25 things, and then spawn back to the main menu, come back in and do it again, and then spawn a great one. That's a big mule deer. I wanted to put another one in them, but I was so scared of shooting the wrong one. Oh, dude, in hindsight, I'm actually horrified, because, like, I really didn't start taking this game seriously for a long time. Like, there got to be a point, though, where, like, I started taking the game seriously enough to actually start looking for tips from it, you know? And this was back in the day when, you know, Jaxie Beard was streaming full-time. Flinter was just starting out. And, like, starting to learn about the game. It's like, alright. And at a certain point, you know, seeing them, like, bag all these diamonds and stuff, that's where I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And then, like, at that point, I'd played so long and shot so many things. I'm like, dude, I know. Something that horrifies me, bro. I can remember this. So back when the game first came out, had no clue about this. The only thing we had was 243s, right? Me and my homies. We were hunting on Lake Lakes, of course, and in my memory, I'm like, it's still the biggest moose I've ever seen in my life, right? Dude, we didn't. What was a diamond? What was anything? We have these 243s, and in our brains, we're like, oh, challenge accepted, dude. We've shot this thing 35 times, and it's still not dead. And I know, I'm like, looking back, hindsight, I'm like, oh, it was a 300 plus moose, I bet. Just had no idea. 280. Did I pick that guy up? Blabbermouthing? I really do have a bad habit that I do need to get. If I need to get my second monitor up for any other reason, it's that right there. Because I'm like literally looking at my phone at chat as I'm talking and not at what I'm doing. And now I'm like, oh, did I pick that guy up or not? Look, he's not hitting. I think I picked him up. He scored 280. Also, real life storm chaser here. Pro tip: you live in northern Illinois or South Texas, man. You should be watching the weather, not me. Oh, here's the thing, and don't like me or like the key I think to Call of the Wild, and this is why I'm like, now here's the thing, I personally, this is my challenge to me to get this stinking great one. We've spent so much time trying to get it. I'm at this point where like I gotta do it. My heart is that Wildcat like experience that I've had since day one of this game, and like that's the one, man. You can do it at your own pace. I've always told myself that like once I get bored of this, I'm going back to what I just do back in the day. Get my collars, get my bow, and just go to town. Because when you're just doing nothing but bow hunting, man, this game becomes fun because the biggest thing that you see is like, ooh, that's big. Whereas right now, I know what to expect, basically. I know what I'm going to see. Based off my herd management, within a 60% accuracy range, I know what I'm going to see next run through. Now, for perspective too, though, this is, I've been grinding mule deer almost exclusively live. I've shot many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds at this point off stream, but my intent initially, because so many people were shooting like 200, 300 mule deer grinds, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to pop this mule deer. Let's do it live. And well, here we are. So it's taken a long time to get here, but here we are. That said, once the idea and understanding of herd management locks in and like you understand it and how it actually works, you're like, oh, it's on one hand it's kind of complicated. On the other, it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Took me a hot minute to get on board. That's only for hankering for a great one. Which, like I said, I mean, I am, but at the same time, man, they're literally diamonds. I don't have an African scrub hair, man. I've been wanting one of those since Foranga Savannah came out. You know how long ago that was? It's 2 children ago. That's how long ago it was. What's going on, man? Still have not seen one. What are some other diamonds that I don't have that are kind of ridiculous at this point? I don't have a rock ptarmigan, nor do I have a willow ptarmigan. And I've tried really, really embarrassingly hard for those willow ptarmigan. I still haven't shot a diamond willow. I feel like the game at this point kind of discourages you to try to take long range shots like that, because even at 300 meters, the 30-06, that damage rate really fell off. To answer your question, outdoors, Janby, doing great, doing great. How about yourself? My bad, didn't mean to skip over that. Listen, Oreo, I am an old man, okay? And when it comes to video game terminology, video games are, like, more advanced than dog years, okay? Because, like, what? They're, like, worse off than an NFL player. This day and age, good luck being relevant in a year from now. This game had to compete coming out with Red Dead Redemption 2. Keeping that guy as my pet. Whenever my great one spawns, I'm shooting him. Back in my day, I can remember actually, my friends and I, we were in high school when Modern Warfare was coming out, the original one, and the beta, because at the time the only Call of Duties that were out were was Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3, and both were good, and they're both you know, respects. If you wanted that close, if you wanted what that modern Call of Duty experience was, Call of Duty 2 was that closest experience, you know. Call of Duty 3 was more, I don't know, it was great. I would put it more like Battlefield. But when, and it was, so this was the golden era, or should I say the end of the golden era of the World War shooter, or World War II shooter. Like back in the day, guys, if you wanted a shooter game, you were in Nazi Germany killing Germans. That's how just what video games were, right? This is what made games like Halo stand out, and it's what made games like Modern Warfare stand out. Anyway, in order to access the beta, I can't remember exactly like what all you had, like there was a very limited number of beta codes that you could access to test this game, and like, yeah, I was one of those nerds, like went all out, and of course got one of the beta codes to beta test or play the game. And anyway, I am old. That said, what makes this game too, I think, so excellent, and I mean this, it does have that classic video game feel to it, man. Like, there's no overcomplicated anything in this. Like, something, and I'm gonna gripe here, and this, there is not a competition. It's apples to oranges. Like, Wave the Hunter 2, I think, is gonna be an excellent game. But my bone to pick with that game, gameplay wise, is I don't like how, when it comes to the colors, it turns into a game itself. Like, I don't want to play a mini game while I'm already playing this game for something that should just be a thing, you know? It's tedious. And I understand you want to try to simulate the fact that you don't want to, like, overcall animals and all that stuff, but at the same time, you also got to give in the fact that it's a video game at the end of the day. Who cares? Let them toot their horn, you know? Especially if kids are playing it. Like, come on, guys. Because at the same time, in one respect, that's where Call of the Wild actually gets it better as far as Hunter's ethics goes than Wave the Hunter. Because Wave the Hunter, man, in a weird way, it almost encourages you. Like, hey, you can see that deer standing over there at 1.1 kilometers. Why wouldn't you try to shoot it with your 243 and wound it severely? And then some, you know, somebody that's never hunted before or doesn't understand it, you know, is going to go out and try to do it IRL and then, like, end up maiming a wound and, you know, something that. Whereas this game, it punishes you, man. Like I was just complaining, it's like, man, 300 meters is like that range where the bullet starts getting weird. The game weirdly tries to, like, make you it really does punish you too with bad shots. Rex! The master has arrived. Right. Oreo said I went into Call of the Wild blind, never do that again. What do you mean blind? Like the ground blind, or like no hunting experience, no nothing, just have no idea, you just happen to play the game? I will gotta say that had an obvious bias. As a real life hunter, this game obviously had a certain appeal to it. No, Rix, the 10 hasn't shown up yet. Should I just give up the herd management thing, dude? If it's got antlers, it's dead. Should I get to that point? Tell me to do it, Rix. Just that's what I've been looking for. You're the expert here. I mean, I'm over this thing, man. Oh yeah, dude. Like I was there with you, man. There was a period. This is why I always tell people, like, especially if it's like a brand new, like, hey, I'm level 1, what should I do? Like somebody in chat like that. I'm always like, don't give up, because like, if you're just gonna raw dog it, dude, good luck, because this game is hard. It actually is, especially when you're starting out, because those perks are very important, and when you don't have them, well, this game is very hard. Tell you what, you want to turn this game into a simulator, turn off all the HUD and don't have any perks. Congratulations, you're now playing an excellent hunting simulator. you know, back in the day when, you know, you didn't know nothing. It was pretty fun eating those 7mm rounds at stuff you shouldn't be. Sub 10K, Rick. Man, I, I keep talking about it, and I probably have already, you know, jinxed it, but I keep telling myself 4,500 kind of seems extreme to me, and if that's 200 kills from now, so it's like, theoretically, this great one should be popping any second, you know? But here we are. Again, I remember seeing, I don't remember where I read it at, but somebody's like, you know, did the math, you know, technically nobody has gotten to a 10,000 kill grind yet. And I'm like, here I am. I'm like, ah, mind that guy. I don't know, Rick. Should I give up the herd management side of things? Should I just really start shooting everything, dude, and just start adding to the numbers? Maybe you've got another great one coming. Which at this point wouldn't shock me, surprise me at all. Try to blast both those guys. Sure what part of him I shot, but I mean, I told myself that I was going to give up mule deer at 4,000, and here we are. Then again, man, the odds are against you. I mean, how many are in at this point? 60, 70, 80, 100,000? I mean, there was a diamond bobcat one time on my New England. I know a guy. Doubt there's anything here. I'm gonna change time just to make sure, but not, you know, it's not that I haven't stolen diamonds off of Rex's maps either, but oh, that one just sticks out, man. That one just sticks out. Well, what's crazy, I think why it sticks out is because in my head I was like, yeah, shoot it, because I'll obviously find another one, and yeah, nope. I mean, I found them in other maps, but there's a tall boy. That rack doesn't make diamonds, so I wasn't gonna fool with it. Which is kind of crazy because that rack's every bit as big as other diamond racks. Right on, man. Every time I get to this blind, they're at a weird angle that's like, whenever I'm looking at them initially, they're just standing perfectly broadside. I need to set my ground blind actually up over there by the tent. Well, if you're on PlayStation, I'm not going to be able to, unfortunately. Hit that point in the round where I'm like, alright, I'm tired of shooting mule deer. Too many to name off in a timely manner. The fact that I've not seen one of the new rares is kind of disappointing too. I mean, literally over 300 kills at this point since the update. No new rare. Rix is always sniffing around like a weirdo. He's there, watching your every move. Barry unfortunately shot that dude right in the noggin, like right in the nose. Just boop. Just booped him with a 300. No big deal. He's just gonna run forever. Guy really did run forever. I did shoot a 300, right? Not 30-06. I might have shot a 30-06. If I did, that actually might change things a little bit. Pretty sure he's still gonna die, but yeah, explains the whole running forever thing. And or there's no shot he's actually alive, right? Plot twist. See, he ran back on himself, so I'm like really confused. It would appear he's going this way, but maybe. Yeah, I had to have shot him 30-06. No other way he ran this far. To the point, no shot. He's still alive. And he got this four-wheeler. There's no way, right? I've been bamboozled. Swindled. Tell you what, let's back out of here before we ruin anything else. And kind of restart that run through. That guy's alive. I'm assuming I hit antler or something like that. And not using the 300, he's not going down, so. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Oreo. I hope to see you on the next one. Yeah. I was like, why can't I change time again? I don't know, Rex. What do you think? If it's got antlers, it's down approach, or because you know everybody's like, don't shoot more than like 12 mule deer at a time. So like, what if I shoot 30 at a time? Like, what's that gonna do? I didn't count that last deer, I don't think. Alright, Rick says we're cleared hot. Mission kill all mule deer. Engaged. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. That was a small 50-50 rack. At least what I call it. There's a diamond version of this rack that looks very cool. It's a risky shot. I'm not even sure I want to try to make it. Kind of do, but I don't. I don't want to risk having to track another one down. Well, level 2 goes, guy. You're done, too. You're done, son. Not sure how I didn't see that guy the first time. I whiffed that guy pretty hard the first shot. Second one got him. Wait, did I whiff the first? No, okay. I was like, did I whiff the first guy? This guy, he technically has a chance. Look at that rack. It's a very nice. But his, I don't know, his brow tines aren't there. I don't think he's going to make it. He's probably going to score at most, probably 290. Not 300, he won't. Try to hard shot him here. $274. I should probably go back to that other zone and shoot them as well. There's a couple level 2s hanging out there that just live there. Rents due. Meant to change time. Didn't. Recoil management purposes, I want to use a 30-06, but if I whiff a shot, or I'm going to regret it. So I'm going to go calm, we're going to 22 them, and then game on. Where that happens. Ended up wounded him anyway. I felt pretty good with that. Apparently wasn't. Good news is shot him 300, not 30-06, so. And if there wasn't this much hunting pressure. Oh, did I drop 3 there? That's probably the right there, that mistype. That's probably the most accurate number. That's how many kills it's going to take to get to this great one, I think. $43,000 something. I hope I landed that second shot, even if it was a bad one, because that'll help take him down. But if not, 300 will finish him. Well, now see what happens now that I've shot all sorts of weird things. Ooh. Why does he look weird? Is that a new rare? I think that might be a new rare, because that's a blonde. That's a blonde mule deer. That's not. I don't know what that is. First time trying the Rick's method, we already get a rare. I mean, he's just standing there. So that's a blonde. That's definitely not. Etheristic Isbaline? Is that how you say that? That's cool. Let's go. Finally. Took 345 kills. Check. That was the 346th kill. I don't think I counted it. I did. I gave up at 400 or 4,000 kills, and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're adding new rare fur types for mule deer," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So if anything, I'm in this for those rares. Hey, there's Big Five. I haven't shot one of those deer in a long time. That felt good. Tall, but kind of looks thin. Curious to see what he scores. Maybe 315, 320. Oh, he trolled. He trolled. I knew he was small, but he trolled. I don't know if I can pull this off. I was a little late on the draw there to get a second one. But they're just going to stand there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good, bad, or ugly, we're going to do one more run through. And let's, you know, say something insane happens. Like, let's just say there were 10 fabled standing there this time. We'll wait till tomorrow to shoot it. But I highly doubt that happens. But it was kind of weird that Rick says get them all, and then I'm going to start blasting everything that I see. Next thing I know, there's, after 350 kill, 300 plus kills, finally shoot a new rare. 5 medium spawns right after that. It's like, all right. Part of me wants to grind a little bit tomorrow too, if the stream happens. I don't know. We'll see. Another part of me, like I said, though, like for real, I need to get on like filling that trophy lodge. It's a lot harder than you think. Sorry, weather nerd. Weather's popping off right now. Had to say good, bad, or ugly, and that was ugly. We shot a lot and didn't leave enough time for really too many respawns to occur there. Indiana's just getting hammered right now. All right, folks. That's unfortunately going to be it for this evening. Put quite a few mule deer down. Got our very first brand new rare Eutharistic, Isabella, whatever. The thing was pretty cool looking. At first I thought it was like a blonde, but then I looked over and saw the actual blonde. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, no great one, but hey, it is what it is. Like I said, tomorrow might be a hybrid of, maybe we'll start out mule deer grinding, maybe do that for like, you know, first part of the stream or something, just to see, you know, if we can get, kind of once it gets through, because typically once it hits to this point, I'll try to shoot through it off stream, that way you guys don't have to see the nightmare that ensues after that. But long story short, I really appreciate everybody stopping by. We'll see you guys on the next one.